The CoinDesk Spotlight is brought to you by Nexo, the place to earn on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more.
Former Binance execs are creating a $100 million fund to spur crypto adoption in emerging markets. Old-fashioned research was formed by Ling Zhang and Wayne Fu, Binance's vice president of M&A and head of corporate development, respectively. Joining us now is Ling Zhang, co-founder of Old-fashioned Research. Welcome to
Hello,
CoinDesk
everyone.
TV.
This is Ling.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. This is Ling Zhang.
Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Very interesting initiative you have here. My understanding is that this is to, one of the main initiatives is metaverse in Latin America and Africa. And this is actually metaverse-week at CoinDesk. This is perfect timing for this. And so I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what the sort of metaverse situation is like in markets like Latin America and Africa. Are there any significant differences? Or is there anything about those markets that, they use metaverse technology in a different way? I think it's something that people would be to learn more about.
Cool. I think in terms of the investment scope, I would like to summarize that our investments, investment scope in terms of the geography, the perspective, that is something that we would love to call the Southern Hemisphere strategy, which is that we focus on emerging markets like Latin Americans, Africans, India, Australia, Southeast Asia, etc. So in this case, I think in terms of the emerging markets like Latin America and Africa, it's not only the metaverse that we are focusing. Our long-term goal and vision is actually to bridge Web2 users and assets into the Web3 area. So metaverse is one of the sectors that we're actively looking into for the investment opportunity in this market. But in addition to that, the overall investment infra products and platform, and also the social-fi, DeFi, GameFi, etc., are all the sectors that we're actively looking into build and back in this emerging market.
Yes, okay, no, understood. But just focusing on one aspect of it, I think it would be interesting just to learn more about what's different about those markets, if it's different. I mean, are there different uses of, DeFi or metaverse? Just, I think anything that you could share about that would be informative.
Yeah, I think from the high-level perspective, why we are focusing on this emerging market, I think to begin with, we have been observing this new markets in the past 2 to 3 years. It's very amazing that we see we gradually witness a great potential of crypto in the areas and regions where people are still struggling from the underdeveloped banking or traditional finance system. We have been seeing that crypto is more and more easier to be accepted, recognized, and also to be adopted in this market. And that's from a bigger perspective from the people, how crypto has been gradually entering people's daily life transaction. And from the entrepreneur and investment opportunities, we do see how the blockchain technology and all these applications being transforming people's life and work style. Take a GameFi, for example. Which is what we characterize one of the track that we are looking into under the broader metaverse area. We have been seeing the success of a GameFi projects like Axie Infinity and how it changed people's life in Philippines. And we do feel there's a strong similar interest in emerging markets like African and Latin America that people can actually earn by participating online through different metaverse or GameFi projects. So this is why we feel like there's a growing strong interest in such kind of the emerging market, because it essentially are transforming how people's life and work style. And that's the second perspective. We do see there's a growing business opportunity coming out. And the third one is that I think from the blockchain and token economic nature is actually transferring how the startup game should be like. It's easier for a local company that can access a global users from day one through its token economic design and also the technology innovation as well. So that's why we also recognize that there's a great plenty of the great finance and technology talents in markets like Latin America and Africa, and we do wanted to leverage this local advantage and also to be the first mover in such in this all this like emerging market.
I'm glad you brought up Axie Infinity in the Philippines, because that actually was my general question here. As you know, the Axie Infinity came from Vietnam and it found huge popularity in the Philippines, where people found ways to earn money playing the game, to the point, as Emily points out often in our discussions, that it's so expensive to even be a part of it. How do you apply that model, that Axie Infinity model, from the Philippines potentially? Does it work in places like Latin America? Does it work in Africa? Or do you think that they would need to be different kinds of models that would be more accepted in these different regions?
I think the nature of this kind of the project, it's the idea of contribution to earn. So it's regardless whether people are actually kept at home or whether they are facing the challenge or risk of losing their job. So I think from the evolution of a GameFi, which is what we call like play to earn model, there's also a new projects, for example, like move to earn or some other contributing area to earn models are coming out in the market. Because I think one of the very interesting and very important transformations and revolutions in crypto nowadays is that users are not only the users to a new project or new product. It's also the investor, it's also the owner, and it's also the contributor from the and also the builder and shaper. So that's why I don't think that the geography condition, for example, the local job market condition, will impact people's passions to participate in the Web3 to the crypto projects by contributing their own like wisdoms or their own user activity to earn. One of the interesting cases that we actually invest in the largest gaming guild in Brazil. It's called DAS. And from now, it's more than just a guild. It's actually developing into an all-in-one step investment product and infra for the local user. Because once for the user who have tried, especially for all those mainstream users from Web2 area who have for the first time tried that, okay, I play a game, I can actually earn like earn some money for my life, for my daily costs. And they were trying to figure out that what's next. Is there any kind of the investment that I can try? Is there any kind of the Web3 like activity that I can contribute so as to earn more from my contribution? So this is very interesting changes, I think, on top of the heat of Axie Infinity and the general like a GameFi project. And this is what we call sorry.
Just saying that, you know, a big play to earn game right now is StepN. I'm even a victim of that. I bought a shoe for $1,500. It's like probably worth $500 now. But I wonder, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, some of the criticisms out there is that it's a bit Ponzi-esque. So I'd like to hear your thoughts. You're basically walking every day and earning this GST token and potentially earning income from walking and exercising.
This is very interesting because I actually wanted to bring up that one of the notable like traditional VC investors in China today actually just bought a pair of the StepN shoes. And from a mainstream user's perspective, they feel like this is actually no different for you to pay a membership card in the gym. Like you also buy the membership card, whether or not you actually work out, is whether you actually earn back the fee that you're actually paying. So this is like no difference from the traditional what we thought about the workout model. But the difference is that here is that when you like played like participated in like projects like StepN, you actually can earn back the fee that you're already been paying. So I think this is one of the reasons why projects like StepN is actually like growing quite wild, because not only like the crypto users recognize this and accepting this, but more and more mainstream users through this kind of the design and model, and they believe that, okay, this is something that I understand because this is no different than I like paying for the membership card in the in the normal gym.
Ling, I'm just curious, who made that analogy to you?
It's actually one of the notable like VC investors called Zhu Xiaohu in China.
Interesting. And just, we got to wrap, but I just wanted to ask you one last question. You know, why did you decide to leave Binance to create this fund? What can you do now that you couldn't do at Binance?
I think this is a very great question. I think Binance, as the leading crypto exchange in the world, they indeed provides a broader perspective for you to get access to the top talents, top funds, and top projects. But investments from a very independent fund perspective is very different from the, when you're doing the investment from a corporate context. So I think for us, there are a broader investment scope that we wanted to touch base and we wanted to explore. So that's why that we decided to launch our own fund, and also actively working with different blockchain ecosystem and to build and grow their own ecosystem. And the second one is that I think for our team's background, we actually have a very strong builder DNA. We've loved to work with the founder to like in a very deep and deeply involving way. So that's why incubation is one of the significant investment practice within our fund's investment category. So we would love to identify the best talents from day one and then work with them very closely to incubate the projects step by step.